Hello, everyone. Looks like it's live now. Thank you all for joining. We'll be starting in a minute. All right, so let's begin. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening based on wherever you're joining from. I'll go ahead and quickly introduce myself. But first of all, welcome to this webinar by CloudFronts on Headless Approach to Business Applications. And beginning with that, I'll quickly go ahead and introduce myself and then my topic. So my name is Priyesh Wag. I'm the practice manager at CloudFronts Technologies, and I'm also Microsoft AI ERP MVP. And I've been an MVP for about 7 years now, and have been helping our teams deploy Dynamics 365 solutions to our customers globally. So I'll be driving you today through all the headless approach that we've been working on in the recent past, and an approach that is now validated through our own use case, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay. So topic today is a headless approach to business applications. What this necessarily means is your existing Dynamics 365 remains as is, but we're going to reimagine it in a different approach where the business logic and the stack remains the same, but UI overhaul really makes things easy for you. This helps your teams really use the UI and get to the things that they want to do in your systems. So this is the agenda for today. I'll talk about a real world use case, and this is a use case at CloudFronts itself, and this is live in production. I will be walking you through the use case, why I thought this should be a topic, and how this emerges as a broader topic for our customers as well, and how we see opportunities for our customers to retain their Dynamics 365 investments and continue to use this custom UI. What this concept really is about, it sounds different. It sounds headless, meaning all things imaginable, but headless really means having the back end and front end separated. Again, I'll be talking about why do we need a headless approach to our existing investments. What this recipe is, because there's no one fixed way of doing headless. There are different ways to do this, but I'll talk about my approach. And I will be demoing this in our portal as well, which is in a sandbox environment. And let's also try to add a live feature. So I'll be talking to my Claude cowork, and I'll be trying to push a couple of changes to my existing portal, and we'll see how that process goes about. This gives an idea of how implementations will start to look going forward. Then this is something also part of our CloudFronts AI MSA. That towards the end, I'll talk about what CloudFronts AI MSA is and how we help our customers also um, get their AI readiness, and headless approach makes way into that as well. Then finally, if time permits, we'll have some Q&A sessions, some FAQs that are already included in the deck, which if when this gets shared on YouTube, we will have all the necessary links posted in the description as well. And lastly, about CloudFronts. So let's get started. So real world use case, and there's a lot of text here, but I'll just talk through this. We have been using Dynamics 365 project operations and sales ever since we are deploying this for our customers. And I had a hard time really to use Dynamics 365 just because I have to work through a bunch of opportunities. I have to keep updating its notes. I have to make sure that all the dates and everything is aligned. I also have to make sure that me and my team are updating their cases well. We are able to do our time entries well. We are able to work through our projects correctly, so that we could book net revenue, bill existing customers on time, and get paid on time. But as and when things started to get busier for all of us, as we know in senior roles, before I could complete a task, there was another task that my mind immediately drifted towards, and then I realized that I found myself skipping through a lot of these and missing out on key details. this resulted in bad data, and eventually I was not having a good conversation with myself that why do I keep missing things? And then I realized what's really holding things back is the not so great UI that Dynamics has today, and its limited customizability or configurability, and it's all just text. So it's really limited way to customize it visually to get your thought process going quickly. So because project operations or Dynamics 365 is not just the only app, we also have, let's say, Zoho for our compliance. Then I also want to keep track of what the team is writing blogs on. So it's again on the website. I also have to keep myself updated of the Microsoft updates that are released. So there are different blogs, sources, events, all these things happening that really slowed me down. So I thought, okay, headless UI is an emerging topic. Let me make a portal for cloud funds, and eventually that which becomes as an approach to actually implementing systems for our customers. So the issue, it seems small today, but it really adds up. And before I could realize, I was starting to miss out on a lot of things. And I realized that this is a problem in my role. Problems in other roles are different. Developers, even in other industries like professional services, or other industries like manufacturing and distribution, they have their different set of business applications, and they might face similar issues as well. And really, we think that UI is one of the things that can hold back. So this just solves one of the problems, but it goes a long way. And that's where this concept comes, a headless CRM. So let's go and see what this concept is about. So what is this concept? What's headless? As I just mentioned at the start of this webinar, headless means the backend logic and the front end is decoupled from each other. Doesn't mean that the front end doesn't exist. A front end which is natively existing, you can continue to use that. But building your own UI really makes gives your team the only UI elements and exposure to the part of your application which they care for. So this really eases their learning curve on having to go through and learn each application, which becomes overwhelming. If Dynamics or any other business application for that matter, it's been deployed for the first time at your organization, there's usually a user pushback, right? And change management is a big topic. Everyone really has to work hard to make the systems adopt and make them successful. So this concept really eases that and reduces that friction. So in this use case, what is achieved here is the existing Dynamics 365 application remains as is. It's only a UI that is new. So any backend data, logic, and metadata, that remains the same. So I'm not really disturbing the fundamentals of the system. I'm just adding an AI layer on top of it, so that the learning curve for team is pretty easy. So this is what we achieve. And once this is deployed, I found a significant um, promotion in the way people are using their systems. They're not missing many things to do. They're able to get things done and actually focus on the actual work that they're supposed to do. So this is the outcome of that, right? So why do we need headless again? This is to help retain their existing investments. I've said all these points though, that improvements can be rolled out within just hours. So there doesn't have to be really an engineering team that can go back on the drawing board, architect something, come back and show you prototypes, and then it rolls into production upon sign off. So all these things can be shortened up, and things can actually start to roll out within a few hours instead of days. And it's just not connecting to one application. I mentioned Zoho as well. I mentioned blogs as well from other websites. So it can just be one portal, a single screen that can be connected to different things based on how the thought pattern of the team is. So it's really a new application in itself, and behind the scenes it's connected to all these different things. So it promotes your usability, speed of adoption amongst team members. And this exact last point is what I'm going to show next, and how that can happen. Okay. So my recipe for headless is, we've been using Dynamics 365. Audience today joining, I'm assuming you're using Dynamics 365 or SAP or any other business applications, or ERP or CRM for that matter. It can be anything, and it can remain as is. Here I choose to use Cloud Cowork, given that we have other options like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Codex, Cowork. So I just thought Cowork is a Cloud Cowork is a best choice for now, and it helps me to write the headless AI app because it works on my machine. It writes all the HTML files, the static pages, adds all the JS, adds all the CSS, and it makes my website ready. And once this is ready, I need my team to access it, so it must be hosted somewhere. So here the choice is Microsoft Azure. So everything remains in the Microsoft ecosystem in our use case, and so for most of our customers as well. So I hosted it as a single page application, and improved the URL so that it appears as if it's just another app or a portal to the user. So that's the recipe, and we'll see how that pans out. So let's review Headless and push a feature as well. So I'm gonna quickly share my switch my screen to moving to the portal itself. Just give me a moment. So if I can see my screen now, um, I'm actually logged into this portal. As you can see, the URL is hub.cloudfronts.com. It is pointing to one of our sandbox environments, so all the data is not live here. And as you can see that if I had to go to Dynamics, I really have to go through the sitemap, look at my table, look at all the data, find the records I want to navigate, edit, change, do all the time, do all those things over and over again. And that would be really tiring. I have to go to my next task. So here, because I wanted to get through things quickly, I observed how my thought processes, and I sat with my team as to identify what really they need to do. And it looks like this is an ideal UI layout, and this could be anything in your case. It could be based on how your other apps look like. If you have a custom website on your own, your portal could also look like your website. So I just thought that okay, I can make all the different areas on the left hand side like this, so it's easy to understand what area that I'm navigating into. We are all used to Dynamics header, so I kept all the information on the header as is. You can also navigate from here. So I can go into my sales hub. Being a practice manager, I'm responsible to also make sure all the opportunities are rightly followed up and keeping things in check. So now instead of going into opportunities, I have everything at one glance. There are some more additional things that is not there in Dynamics, but I thought it is necessary for me to know. For example, what the quarterly targets look like. And on the left hand side here are some AI insights. So again, because we are all taking an AI turn in our business applications, I'm using Anthropic's models to generate the pipeline risks, so that looking at my pipeline based on the prompt that I have set, and according to what we want to look at, I have come up with five pipeline risks, and based on the prompt it will generate risk as the pipeline keeps on changing. Then in the middle layer, you can see these are all different opportunities. So it's visually richer than what you see in Dynamics. So you can easily expand into an account, see what opportunities exist, see all the different nodes that I have put in, continue to expand others, and just brush through all my opportunities, even if I don't have to do anything. And likewise, really without changing and navigating screens, I can go through all these things really quickly. I can add data from here that we will next week to discuss next step. So this is just for me and my team to get notified as to what's happening on the opportunity. The same thing you would have to do in Dynamics, add a note, get it sent out, and just while I was typing that, it got saved and updated right there. So I can have all my filters, have the different AI summaries put in here as well, and this is just my opportunity screen here. For my role, I need to look at other things as well. So I can also look at the cases that the team is assigned to. So just like service model or customer service, I have all my team members, our respective cases, and go through each one of those just like that. Um, so the idea here is to put your system in the forefront of the UI and make the things that you need the most immediately accessible. Because this comes as its own portal, so one of the most frequent questions I get asked is, what about the security model? What Who can see what? So really, because this is connected to Dynamics and the APIs that are directly called, OData is called. So the existing security model of Dynamics 365, your security roles is the first layer of how your data is read or updated. But there's also a second layer, just to make things easy for whoever just uses the portal, is they can always go to settings area and add different users here. Because I'm in sandbox, this data is not available, but I have created my own version of security roles, and it is just based on who should be able to access what and track or see what kind of information. So keeping the portal settings also simpler, other than what you see in Dynamics. Then similarly, wherever I have UI or AI components, and I use my custom prompts, all the prompts for different areas are stored here. I can keep on updating them. Just like you can have all the API keys here. I have different themes as well. All these themes are not great, so I have to still work on those. But I'm going to be coming up with better themes. Likewise, I also want to receive news updates as to what's happening in the world of Dynamics and any news feed for that matter. So I am also tracking all the news feeds. Right now, I've just configured Power Apps and Dynamics 365 blog. This is getting baked, so once I click on this announcements, things will start to appear from a right hand pane, just like you see in Dynamics. And I can switch between the sandbox and the production, just like that. So similarly, this is the UI that I have built, and we are now starting to use this more regularly. And this is, in a way, our first approach to headless. So let's do one thing. If you're imagining that this must have taken a lot of time, and as I just said, that it just really takes a few moments, few minutes, a couple of hours to really roll out a fully baked feature. So let's try to do that. For example, now I am in this opportunity, and what I had to really go into Dynamics is to assign this opportunity to someone else, or assign some other opportunity to myself. So assign button is not, that's a pretty common feature. So what I can do is I can then open up my Claude Cowork, and add this feature into it. So I've been already working on it, and because I started from the very beginning, Claude is already aware of this project. I've made a project into it. I've connected my Azure, so it has given me all the scripts that I want to write. And I'll just say that add and assign button on the buttons section for each opportunity. Put it next to sales team button, and let me pick enabled users, so other users are not visible in the drop down. And yeah, just that, just one button. So I'll let Claude Cowork do its thing, but while it does it, couple of things that I also have ahead in the presentation, in looking at the time we have in this session, that um, although end users can start to build their UIs, but what we recommend is not doing this on your own, because eventually if there's a critical validation, if you're not aware of the nomenclature, if you're not aware of the metadata, the UI will look like it's correct. It can be hosted, but unless you know the black end plumbing of the systems, you might end up with results that insert data into Dynamics but doesn't have all the required fields, just like how OData works. It's a bit technical again in this session, but um, ideally this should be done by someone who's a solution architect, so that they know that they're gonna design a headless application in the right way, instead of just having a UI which can be hosted and it will connect and start to see early results as well, but in the long run it will start to fall through the cracks, just because something was not taken care of from the get-go itself. So that's what would really happen. um, it's going to take a couple of minutes. It will write my file. It will understand what I need. So the way Cloud works does is I've connected it to Microsoft Learn. The environment that I'm working on, it will put things into UAT and production both. Right now, it will put things into production, so I can't show you right that. But what happens as a next step is once it finishes things, it will give me the same script that I can put in my terminal like this, and this just the files just get uploaded. So once this section completes, my files are ready to commit and go to Azure. This is all uploading in Azure, and I can simply go back and refresh the page really, and the feature will be added there. So that's really it. The reason it is getting quick to push features right now, which is because the initial legwork is a bit of setup and making sure that all things are done right in the right way. So taking care of all the CI/CD, taking care of all the right solutions, what to use, what publishers to use, all those technical things are taken care of. And once this is set in any client rollout, this then becomes like a workshop. So every workshop's end result is then pushing out features, making adjustments, and making sure that end users are seeing things live and adopted quickly. So that's just the way, that's just the approach that a headless UI can be turned out for any existing business application. So that's about it. And I will go back to my presentation. So hopefully, you were able to get an idea of what an headless AI, headless application looks like, and how this really helps your existing Dynamics 365 investments to be retained. We're seeing where customers would want to invest in different systems just because the existing systems don't really are serving them well. But here's where we can help and propose a CloudFront's AI MSA, where the purpose of this AIMSA is to identify your cases where a headless UI is also part of the main implementation. So we help and prioritize, build, design for your use cases, deploy, and also support this. And because this is an ongoing activity, we can continue to improve this. Apologies for this URL. I'll put it right in the final recording. And the conclusion then is, it eliminates the learning curve for the team. It gives you a UI which is ready to go and ready to use, declutters your business applications experience, so you're not really bogged down by then configuring your JavaScript or making changes to your forms and views. That can be then left aside, and this approach could be adopted. Then each team can have their own experiences and look at only what matters to them. And this really promotes adoption for the end users. So takeaway is, it's not an AI solution, but AI is used to build this classic result already. Solution architecting is must, recommended that should not be done by end users, as some of the failures could just be right immediate after that. And you're not really risking any business logic. You're not changing anything on the metadata side unless your business application, your business logic demands that. So you exactly know what you're doing. We are not inventing any business logic here. It's just a UI overhaul. And also weigh the costs to run and build this against the gains. Because this is hosted on Azure, it has pay as you go. But if your team sizes are really large, you have to be mindful about how, what kind of features are you putting into a portal. Are you trying to replicate the systems entirely, or these are just for smaller departments? So that again is up for debate as well. And this finally sets your team ready for their business activities and not really worry about the business applications. So again, should you have any question and answers, do email us at transform@cloudfunds.com. But Gaurav, if you're online, can you check if you have any questions in the chat? These are just some
Yes.
FAQs for you to read through. Yes, Gaurav?
Yeah, Kevin have one question.
Yes. I'm just checking if I can read through this chat. Just give me a moment. I'll end the slideshow and I'll look at portal. Can Cowork can design UI and integrate into the backend system? Yes, it can. The way it can do is because it allows you to put iframe snippets. You can embed in your existing D65 forms as well. So it doesn't have to be a separate portal. It could be small snippets of HTML. Cowork can do that for you. Do we have any other questions though? I think those were all the questions. So hopefully this session was useful for you, and do reach out to us at transform at cloudfronts.com. Do reach out to us on LinkedIn as well. And we also have CloudFronts AI MSA as an offering. Uh, Here, it's not about just the headless UI portal, it can be a part of it, but we really help our customers identify their most highest priority use cases and implement that into an iterative model with the right measurements of governance in place. So that was all for today's session, and our future sessions would be diving deeper into such topics. So I hope you found these 30 minutes useful. Again, looking forward for your feedback, and thank you. And I will see you in another session with another topic.